Amber, okay, I found the perfect job for you, okay? It's more money, it's a better title, and fully remote.
No.
No, but you didn't even let me finish.
I don't need to. We've been over this.
Amber, it's literally everything that you said that you wanted.
I know, but I just got the good parking spot.
The good parking spot? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I waited 14 months for that parking spot, Holly.
Okay, so you're telling me you are not going to apply for this job because of a parking spot?
And my mug is in the cabinet. They know my order at the coffee cart. Do you have any idea how long it takes to train a coffee cart person?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is job cuffing.
I also just figured out the printer.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Sanity Pending Podcast. I'm Holly, and this is Amber. And Amber, today's topic is one, it's like you look around and, at your job and you think, it's not terrible. Not terrible. It's not exciting. It's not what I'm passionate about, but, it's relatively stable. It's predictable. Maybe it's safe enough. I can stay here. And that's the thing with job cuffing, right? Is it's like very, they don't stay because they love what they're doing. They stay where they are because it doesn't feel bad enough yet to leave. It's fine, And Amber, I know you've had a lot of thoughts about this topic, so I'm kind of curious. What is your experience with job cuffing?
I would like to guess that this is something that we've all done.
Oh, I think so.
Which is why it feels so relatable to make excuses for why we won't address what we need to address, which is to go find the thing that we want to do, right? So it's we know that there's a feeling that's coming on I don't want to go do the thing that I know that I need to go do. So I'm just going to make myself feel better about what I do have. And in a lot of ways, it kind of shifts to the positive. You are kind of looking at the silver lining around where you are, maybe, right? Without and you're making it sound better than what it is by focusing on the perks. And usually you'll hear but I have to deal with, Susie Q or, Johnny Joe over here as this employee who's ruining my day. But, yes, but I have all of these perks, right? And so it's and so you'll hear everything's a balance, everything's and so it's even putting it in those terms, I think is part of how we make sense of our world.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And also okay, so we know, I feel like this is really on brand for me to say, but I feel like society has brainwashed us, Amber. They've brainwashed us into thinking that you can't have both a steady paycheck and actually be able to do something that you really love and find fulfilling. You know what I mean? That it's one or the other. One of those things is responsibility and the other is a pipe dream, and I feel because I got talked out of doing something after high school whenever I was looking at where I wanted to go to school and what I wanted to pursue. You don't want this, you won't be able to find XYZ, even though it was something I really wanted. So I feel like we're all kind of told this stuff, and maybe, out of fear of going hungry and being homeless, we're just trapped into going through the motions. It feels like we're zombies, Amber, but I also get it. That's a real fear to not have those basic necessities. And so, I don't hold that against anybody who's I would really like to try this thing over here, but that's scary because this is something I know. I don't know. And again, it's fine, right? It's okay.
It's right. Because I'm getting, I know that I've got to your point, I got to do the responsible thing. I'm the responsible one.
Right.
So
yes.
You can't just not have a job because that's not what responsible people do.
Right. Yeah. Yes, exactly. And pursuing some of these other things is frivolous. Or something, it's something that you do when you're young, but you're an adult, you have these responsibilities and all this other stuff. It's not the mature thing to do, I guess, it's weird how we've kind of been, I don't know, told these things and we believe it.
It is. Should we talk about where this term came from? Because I feel
I feel like you know more than I do. Please. Go for it.
I feel like it's really interesting how the evolution of the term has come about. So if I understand it correctly, it actually started as an HR term. And so
Mm.
it references kind of being cuffed to your job during a seasonal, usually the winter months. So that way you could make it through the holidays, right? Have a paycheck that you could afford Christmas. And then usually the job market would slow down during the holidays. And so then there really wasn't a whole lot that was available or advertised.
Right.
And so then you would just hang on to the job until the spring, for which you would then apply for new opportunities and leave because you could afford to do it at that time because you weren't cuffed to the season and cuffed to responsibilities, essentially, right? And so it's actually referencing job market fluctuations about when jobs were available and when you would be cuffed. And so then that term got taken from a job market kind of world into a dating world. And so you'll hear it called cuffing season, as you are just going to get into a relationship or stay in a relationship so that way you have somebody to spend the holidays with, and then you dump them and go and be about your merry way during the,
I've seen that Hallmark movie.
I
think we've all seen that Hallmark movie.
Right. And so it has now evolved back into a workplace term, and so instead of it referencing job market fluctuations, it's actually your stability at a job as a whole. So it is tied to that particular job and your relationship to that job now, as there's something like a perk, like benefits, like right? Or even just a steady paycheck that has you feeling that you are cuffed, or essentially handcuffed is where cuff is coming from. And so you feel tied, stuck in some way to making decisions based off of, but it's just too good, right? I can't walk away from this. And so they were definitely things that I heard before I left as to, I wish I could leave and do the thing that you're doing, but I just can't. I have bills to pay. And so it's like, I want to stay because of the paycheck. And it's like, okay, like I also need to pay bills, and I also have the exact same responsibilities. And that's not a comparison. It's just saying that you sometimes like get to a point where decisions become different for each individual.
For sure.
But the act of identifying your handcuffs in the environment is still part of the game, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think too, like you kind of hinted at it earlier when you were just like, like exhausted, like, because I've heard, we've heard that responsibility thing as an excuse. I hate to call it an excuse actually, but like, the reason for staying, like you said, like bills, stuff, like it's, there's lots of things or whatever. But I also think starting over and just trying something new, not only is it scary, we're exhausted, Amber. Like who has the energy to try something? And then like, you're like, I'll try it while I still have some stability here. But it's like, what, like 9 to 5s. Sometimes people have things going on the weekends. A lot of people, when they've got kids and stuff that they're running around, like, when do you find time to like do anything? I'm like just barely finding time. Like, I forgot I skipped dinner. Like I should eat something before I go to bed. Like, or I'm going to wake up and like in the middle of the night or something. You know what I mean? It's like, the day is gone. Like, when do you find time to experiment or try something different even? So sometimes it is like just a complete leap, because it's like, if I don't do it, I'll never do it. If I don't just try it, I'll never get started. Because there's always going to be something that comes up that I'm like, I'll try it later, or in the spring, in the summer, after the holidays, whatever it might be. It's just, I don't know. It's always something different, but it does make me really kind of think of this kind of like zombie-like performance that we're just like going through. Like, I'm trying to think of like a good movie I've seen where it's just like everybody's doing the same thing all the time. And it's like, we've just been told like, that's how it should, like, that's normal. And like, everybody does it. If you're responsible, if you're mature, like you do these things. And it's like, I don't like it.
No, it is. It's like a status that we're being sold.
And I think some people do chase that status thing. Like, so-and-so retired. I'm up on the potential to get that good parking spot that they had, or whatever. It's like, God, I can't believe, like, is that, maybe that is something like you want to look forward to. Like, I'm not saying like, there's anything wrong with doing that either, but it's, I it wasn't for me though. I'll just say that. Like, I didn't want to look forward to, oh, I'm going to get this thing because somebody left and I want this like good parking spot, or maybe the good debt, like the good office space, or, I'll finally get out of the cubicle. Like, I don't know.
I also think that not only have we like kind of pulling on this thread of what we've been sold, I feel like we've also been sold into a debt positive, meaning that to be a functioning member of society, everybody's got debt. And right, or the circumstances for why we keep trying to get more money is to pay off all of the debt that we have accumulated, because we don't live in a world that pays us enough to live and have a good work-life balance. And so again, not a single ounce of judgment. There's just a lot of folks in debt, and
no, for sure.
Being in debt is the cuff. And so they might look at their job and go, if I didn't have these things, right, then I could make those decisions. And so first you're handcuffed to those responsibilities outside of the job, just life. And then you have things that you're dealing with at work that it doesn't matter how you feel about it or what you want to do. Even if you wanted to leave, you're just like, well, dang, I can't because I have these other handcuffs. And so it's like we're wearing so many different cuffs. And we're talking about it today in the sense of a job because, this is what our podcast is about, is the workplace. But you can't help but have personal that overlaps with your work and why you make the decisions that you make. And I also think that this kind of term has gone beyond seasonal, because our whole life has blown up to being handcuffed to so many different things of how we got here. So you're right. We are zombies. And I just imagine, right? So instead of brains, it's just kind of like, what are we after? If it's not brains, what is our food? And is it like, I think we start to question.
Yeah. And that's why I think too, like, I just think of like a whole generation that was misled into pursuing something because we were told by people who, were able to accumulate some kind of success or whatever, that like, you have to do these things, but the rules had changed and they didn't tell us. And then, we're out there doing like what we've been told to do, and we're still not getting the thing. And we're like, hey, we're not getting the thing. And then we're being told, well, you didn't get it because you didn't work hard enough. You're not you're not like completely exhausted and, suck it up and keep going. Like, that's what we all do. And it's like, my God, it feels like you can't get ahead. Like, there's no winning this thing. Like, there's no end to like get your trophy. Like, it's an infinite thing that you do until you die. Sorry, that sounds really terrible.
How depressing.
I know. It's very awful, but sorry, like that got me started on a thing. But anyway, so like, I mean, all those, I think you brought up a really good point that it's not just the comfort of like something that feels like that, it's also, but I also have all these other things outside that I'm like thinking about and stressing about. That's also weighing on me. So yeah.
And it looks selfish when you make those decisions.
It does. A lot of people see it as being selfish.
A lot of people see it that way. And sometimes, to your point of the like, I'm just going to do what's the easiest way possible. It is so much easier to stay and send the message that people understand without having to explain yourself than to take the route that you constantly have to defend and explain why you did something that is perceived as dumb or stupid or irresponsible. And so you just like don't want to have those conversations with the people around you. And so you stay to avoid having, because we just need the Staples easy button. We just need the easy button. And every time that we feel like because we're not opposed to working for the thing that we need to do, but come on, give us a break. Give us a break. And,
are you kidding? Like this idea that
piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Like this whole idea that like people don't want to be productive or they don't want to contribute something. It's like, that's BS. Like, people want to not struggle and, just be dragged through the mud. But you bring up a really good point too, of like outside people see it as being dumb and stupid. And so there's very rarely do people have a proper support system that will help them get like achieve what they want to achieve. And I don't mean help monetarily. I mean like, hey, like encourage them that, it's going to take a lot of work. You're going to need to be really brave, but like this could work, right? Like, and here, I'm going to like root for you. Like a lot of times people don't have people in their corner who are rooting for them, for one reason or another. So, yeah, that's unfortunate as well.
It is. And it feels like a gigantic hypocrisy, because if one of the other buzzword phrases that's been around for a while is this work-life balance, which we've talked about in previous episodes, right? And just kind of having that balance. So if you actually make decisions that are putting yourself in alignment to a work-life balance, and then you essentially receive shit from other people about making those decisions, it's like, can work-life balance only be given to you from a company? But if you decide to take it into your own hands and do something about it, you're now seen as irresponsible and not doing because you're going outside of the messaging of the programming, because we don't understand how to process outside of that programming sometimes, right? Because that we have been conditioned to, this is the thing that responsible people do, and these are the things that irresponsible people do. But yet when successful people do the risky, irresponsible thing and then become successful, then they are somehow a special case.
Right. Well, and think about too, the number of people who are not successful when they try it, because let's be real, not everybody, like it's not always going to work 100% of the time. And then, you know, again, it comes back to those support systems. Like a lot of people, like, they're like, well, like you had it coming or whatever. Do you know what? Like they get kicked when they're already down and stuff like that too. So it's like, I mean, honestly, just, it feels like in general, there's no compassion for other people who want to try something, who want to experiment, who want to, like, not only are we not encouraged to do those things, but we amplify the message when somebody does fail that you are more likely to be this person. And guess what? We're not going to help them. We're going to let them continue to suffer. And we want you to watch because we want you to be afraid of ever trying anything like this too. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's again, they're trying to control everybody. So like, you know what I mean? Like get on board and not question about your workplace conditions, not question the salaries that we're giving you, not question all these other things. So yeah, it's, oh man, I just enraged. I'm going to take a breather for a second.
Okay, so game? You want to play a game?
Game. I want to play a game.
We just went down.
You want to play a game?
Speaking of horror, you want to play a game? It's not a jigsaw game.
Okay, well, phew.
Right. Okay, so this one is, I've forgotten the name of it. And so here are the rules. Each round, I'm going to give you descriptions of 2 employees. One employee or one job that an employee has is cuffed, and one is genuinely content or just playing the long game. And we're going with the like cuffed definition here of they would like to leave but feel compelled to stay versus actually aligning with staying, right?
Yes. Okay.
Round 1. Employee A has been in the same role for 6 years, hasn't applied anywhere, says she's not looking because the benefits are really good and honestly the commute is unbeatable. Employee B has been in the same role for 6 years, just got a certification, has a standing coffee with someone at a company she'd love to work at someday, and says she's not in a rush, but she's paying attention. Who's cuffed?
I would say employee B is cuffed.
Ooh, interesting. Tell me why.
Yeah. Well, so the whole like, I would love to work over here at this company, but I'm not in a rush. Meaning like, oh, like that would take some effort to go over there. Like I'd need to do some research, do whatever it is. Versus employee A is like, you know, I really like it here. I'm not really interested in looking for anything else. Versus like, I would like to move somewhere else, but these are like really, really nice. I didn't get that impression, or there wasn't a mention of actual interest in leaving. But now that you say that, now I feel like it's like the opposite. But you tell me, because then this will inform me for the... Okay. Dang. I feel like I always get them wrong whenever we're playing. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Do the explanation.
Same. I was so scared in last week's game with you. Because we're conditioned to be perfectionist and right? And
we
seen
are.
as having the right answers, because somehow that's wrong to be. So anyway, that was a little side note there. But let's not like... Whatever your answer is, Holly, is the answer for you until we kind of like talk it through. So, So no judgment, friend. Okay, so the answer is employee A. Employee A is cuffed because the benefits and the commute are doing a lot of the heavy lifting in her description, because she's not looked up and around for 6 years. So because she hasn't made the attempt to leave, I can understand the confusion around her being happy and staying there. But her description of why she can't leave is because of the benefits, not because, right, she actually enjoys her job. Whereas employee B, she's playing the long game and is making these coffee dates to get her name out and is actually doing the work of planting the seeds about where she wants to go, even though now is not the time for her to leave. Round 2, employee A updates his resume every few months, keeps his LinkedIn fresh, and takes every recruiter call just to stay sharp. Has been at his company for 3 years and says he's happy there. Employee B hasn't touched his resume in 2 years, turned down 2 recruiter calls, just negotiated a raise, and is focused on a project he's genuinely excited about. This one seems tricky.
This is really hard. Like, what the heck? They both say that they're happy? I'm confused. I don't know. The second one sounds like negotiated a raise, so they want to like stay there. But that could also be like a signal that like negotiated a raise, so that way like can negotiate a higher salary again. Genuinely excited about. Oh God. Okay. Is employee B cuffed? Okay.
Yeah. But maybe, right? Like, so there, this one was kind of a tricky answer. And this one can maybe go both ways. And this one could also be seen as a trap, right? Like just in the 2 different examples. So you did good on the tricky one. So employee A certainly sounds proactive and could be performing the readiness steps just like employee B did in the previous round, but doesn't really have any inclination to leave. I mean, like, so it's just kind of like going through the motions of still being cuffed to this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to, like, part of keeping yourself up to speed, right, is that you go and you keep yourself fresh and practicing just in case it's going to happen. It doesn't actually mean that they're actively looking, right? And so, that's where employee B kind of takes the lead on it being cuffed, because they sound like they're stagnant. Right.
Yeah.
But they might just know what they want. And because they just negotiated this raise and that is focusing on the project that they're genuinely excited about, those 2 actions of they just gave me a raise and I'm doing work right now that I like, right? That is more of the cuffed feeling. Than the right.
Say, so like keeping your resume up to date is like bravo, because like what a task that is. Good Lord, that is not something I look forward to.
Round 3, employee A complains about her job every single Monday, has a running list of everything wrong with her manager, has not updated her resume since 2019, and tells everyone she's definitely leaving soon.
Okay.
Employee B.
I've definitely worked with somebody like that.
Employee B is quiet about their job, doesn't complain much, shows up, does good work, goes home, been there for 4 years. Who's cuffed?
And this also feels like a tricky one where they both sound cuffed to me. Because like the first one, because I've worked with people who are full of hot air and like think that threats are going to work somehow, like, which I've never seen an actual threat work, no matter who it is, what the work was. I've never seen somebody successfully pull off a give me this or else. Never, ever, ever. So I'm curious if anybody has ever seen a successful one of those. I have not. Because again, every job I've ever had, every single person in that company was replaceable, easily replaceable. And then the other one, though, again, that sounds very much like that zombie thing that we were just going through the motions, like quiet about it. Doesn't mean you're happy. Like, but again, I know a lot of introverts who are just like, I mean, what is complaining going to do? So I'm going to go with employee B is cuffed.
Oh, it's employee A. And here's why. I know. And I feel like your response, like your description and explanation is so beautiful for this too, because of your examples about the hot air and the threats and the complaints. That is all behaviors that are the symptoms of what's really going on. It's symptoms of their dissatisfaction. So employee A is complaining about her job every single Monday. Yeah. She's not happy where she's at. And so she is keeping a running list. She's not updating her resume. So she's not engaged into aligning herself with what she's doing. She doesn't feel connected to what she's doing. And she's telling everybody that she's leaving soon, right? Those are all that are the tells of her being cuffed. Because if she really was that upset, right? Why hasn't she gone? So something is keeping her cuffed. We don't get what those answers are, but all of the complaints, the excuses, she's talking like she's like beefing herself up. And it is also from the research, it shows that research meaning actual HR research in publications and in journals. That's what I mean by research, is that the research actually suggests that cuffed people do not suffer in silence. That silence, cuffed people, they narrate their suffering. And they may stay put and not actually get themselves to move the needle within themselves to go from talking about it to action.
Interesting.
But they are going to talk about it out loud. And I'd also like, it was also difficult too, because I empathize so much and sympathize with people. And I understand that this is not a one size fits all scenario. That I know a lot of this is just individual behaviors too. You mentioned the difference between introverts and extroverts.
Right, suffering in silence. And I'm used to that.
Suffering in silence, could be an introvert quality, maybe, right? And that as an introvert, they're just not likely going to really share anything with anyone, like and offer up that information in general. So just know that just because there's an answer in the game does not mean that it applies to all. This is not a general sense, but it does indicate. And whether it's happening at work, maybe that introvert goes and talks about how unhappy they are at home.
Right.
Like it's, I kept this all to work settings, but that doesn't mean that they might quietly suffer in the job place, but go home and talk about it to their trusted folks. So
good point.
So this is not one size fits all. Okay. Last one. Okay. Employee A loves her team genuinely, would follow two of her colleagues anywhere, stays partly because of them and says so openly. Employee B stays because he's so close to vesting, has been so close for about 2 years now, almost there.
Oh my
Who's
God. They both sound cuffed to me. Because like
they're both.
Okay, I was gonna say because it's like not the work itself, keeping them there. So, and I don't blame either of them because having a work bestie is kind of a necessity to get through the day. Like, how are you gonna do it otherwise, Amber? How are you gonna do it? Who are you gonna have morning memes with, and laugh over stuff? Nah, everybody needs to work, but I also get the vested thing. Again, timing matters. So
yes. No, this one was tricky because the answer is both, and they're very clear, kind of like very common reasons, right? Or very common personal reasons that you, especially the vested one, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because you might get that pension, right? There's actual true benefit to just holding on.
Yeah.
And though that may be your motivations for it, it still doesn't change the fact that you're cuffed. Right. Yeah. That is I think they call the vested, or the kind of like staying for the amount of time that you've already committed where you don't have to start over. I think they call those golden handcuffs. Right. Because there's there's like monetary value, or there's a real big reward for waiting for those. So if you've heard of golden handcuffs before, it's my understanding that golden handcuffs refer to things that your time and investment equals a payout at the end.
Yeah.
I'm vested. And so I can't leave because I have the golden handcuffs. Yeah. So it's not an immediate return. Right. And so employee A, right, is cuffed by loyalty. which is warm and human, right? But it is still a cage.
Yeah.
And employee
it is
B,
still a cage. I can't believe you said that. Oh my God, that's like perfect visual for that. Like that's how this whole conversation has felt. Like we're all like caged. Oh my God. Wow. You really did it. You really dropped a big one there. Okay, proceed.
Canaries in coal mines, right? Also very dark.
Very dark, very dark.
Employee B is cuffed by the math, right? Like it's the which is cold and logical, but also still a cage. So it's just coming at it from different ways of thinking.
Yes.
And neither one is right, wrong, good, bad. Like we do not assign any of those kind of labels to this. And even to say that you're cuffed to a job doesn't necessarily mean that that is good, bad, right, and right.
Like it's wrong. No. Like
absolutely not. It's just like it's just recognition. Sometimes being able to name it, recognize it, could be that space that you as an individual need to know, this is what's happening to me. I can name it, right? And then since I can name it, I can understand it, then I can process and work through.
Right. Figure out how I'm going to navigate that or what I'm going to do about it. Yes, exactly. I think, that stuck feeling actually, and just this whole like, feeling stuck, it does have me thinking like coaching, Amber, feeling stuck. So I need some coaching wisdom here. Like, because obviously everybody's going to have a different, this game was a really good example of how everybody has their own reasons for doing what they're doing, all those things. So just in general terms, like general coaching wisdom.
Right. Like this is a real big coaching topic is like, should I stay? Should I go? Like, I've got all of like, here are all my pros and my cons. Right. And so do the pros outweigh the cons? Yeah. All of the, like, this is prime territory for coaching and kind of like where people are. And so usually people start with questions around, how can, or why does, a job have so much power over me? Right. Yeah. Like how did I get here? Right. Mm-hmm. And usually when you start asking the how did I get here questions, it's another avoidance tactic. It's not the place that's going to kind of get you into where the deep dive is within yourself, because then you can open up a lot of blame and shame about how these things happened. Yeah. And that's not really, just like there's no labels that we would assign to this, there's no benefit in being able to blame how you got into a situation, right? Mm-hmm. So, because that's not really where the importance is. The importance is recognizing that you are there. So then kind of bypassing over the, how can this job have so much power over me? It does, right? Like just, it does, and move on, right? So a better question to ask would be, what have I decided? Right? In a very intentional or unintentional way. But what have I decided this job is worth more than?
I can see that. Oh my goodness. That makes me think about a lot of different things. A lot of things that I, again, let myself get talked out of doing or trying, and things like that.
I think there's a lot of overlap in our episode on workplace reputations and kind of how we're seen, how we're valued. That comes up for like when I think of that, and it's like, well, I've let my care for success, my care for being the person who takes care of stuff, went out over my own personal needs. I put others before me.
I really didn't expect this episode to be so like kind of like hard to talk about.
But that, I know, trauma is hard, friend.
God, tell me about it.
Trauma is so hard. But just like what this whole episode was about, naming it, recognizing it, gives us better like ways to understand who we are at work. Like if you are an over analytical, I don't even call it over. Just if you're somebody who takes conversations and replays them in your head later, and you're like, oh, dang it. I why did I do that? Or why did I say that? Or why did I, right? Like, this is a really good approach to like kind of practice the, doesn't matter the why. Let the why go, right? And it's like, but now that you know that you said this thing that you weren't like necessarily pleased or happy with. Like, what can you do with it? And this is something like you can take those questions and instead of asking the why and trying to get to the source of the blame and the shame, but start reflecting on what would I have rather said? What would have made me feel better in that moment to have said? What do I think happened? To kind of like get you out of the loop of, because I think that there's so many people walking around who do not know that they're cuffed.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. People who claim to be happy, who I don't think like really are. And there are tells. But again, not to say that staying is right or wrong or being like, whatever decision you've made is right or wrong. It's funny about the conversation though, Amber, because like for me, I do replay conversations, but I'm always like, man, I wish I was wittier in the moment and had a better comeback for stuff. I swear sometimes I like talk to you and I'm like, oh, dang, that would have been a perfect thing to say to such and such over here who said a thing to me that I'm like, dang, like I almost need like a little Amber on my shoulder. So like you can like whisper the really funny things, like whenever I'm like, oh yeah.
Banana bread at work, dog? Hell yeah. Right. Yes, we're bringing the banana bread to this work, right? And we because if you've not seen that video, it is a man who is high as a kite in his car, and he's really talking about changing your perspective around like he's having a tough time at
very
work.
Relatable. That's like that's a good one. Okay, yeah, we'll share it on the subreddit because like if you haven't seen that, you got to see it. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Continue because this is like so. I didn't realize how much this applied, but it totally does.
Yes, he's got a place in this episode for us. And so like he is sitting in his car talking about like all of these things that are bad, right? Stuff that are like physically bad. Like he talks about getting something in your eye, like being stabbed in the eye or something like, but then he's like somebody like his whole day can change because somebody brought banana bread to work. And he's like, and it changed the whole day, right? Yeah. Somebody bought banana bread at work, dog, right? Oh, hell yeah, right? Like it's something about his mother told him, like, good things come to those who wait. And I waited and I got banana bread at work. Like,
good things come to those who wait, I guess.
So he's like imparting like his parenting, like the things that he was told. And so again, that conditioning, the stuff that we were told to come true. And in his state, he was told this and it did come true. Unfortunately for us, we were told things that have not come true. So we're having to live with the consequences of it. And we just really want somebody to bring us some banana bread at work.
Right? Yeah, please.
So good. And it just sticks. It just sticks in your head. And so, so if you are with us and you know what we're talking about, hell yeah. And if you don't, you will learn all about it on our subreddit. Speaking of, we will put these fun little game and these scenarios on our subreddit when this episode comes out. So join us in our subreddit channel that we are calling The Break Room when they have to do with our post-episode content where we specifically address and ask questions that maybe we didn't get to ask. Or maybe upon reflection, they came to us later and we go, wish we would have asked that in the episode. And so we bring it to our subreddit. So, and we also share memes with each other about just what it's like to be an employee in today's workspace. And so join us, share your own. You got ideas of memes or like, this is my favorite meme ever and I use it for everything. Bring it. Share it. You got a video that you quote all the time and bring it to work. Bring it. Share it. Right. Again, that's on our on our subreddit at Sanity Pending Podcast. And then we have exciting news, Holly. Excited! Gonna tell all the people. So we made a decision as we are doing our evaluation of where we're kind of at and where we want to interact with individuals. And we made the decision to let our TikTok go because we use our video platform as YouTube. So we're keeping our YouTube and we let TikTok go. And in its place, we are now on Substack. And so as a Substack subscriber, you can subscribe for free and get more in-depth written kind of like content around how we came to these episode topics, like a really like how did it start, sharing a little bit more about what Holly and I have gone through, in our work environments, and then putting it out to how we kind of came up with the episode. So some of it is background context and some of it is more a deeper exploration into the content. So we might share more about the studies that we reference, or who, right? Like we might have heard or know without calling them out, like other people's stories and things that we've now. And so so you can get that in your, it's called The Sidebar, is our publication on Substack. And so when you subscribe as a free subscriber, you will get that in your box every week. We're going to keep that one free. But if you become a paid subscriber, which Substack allows you to do as a paid subscriber, not only will you get that weekly email, but you will also get access to a weekly chat with Holly and I, where we will be asking you questions and kind of offering coaching, offering a way for you to explore with us what your personal story is and kind of keep it to small groups. And so that way we can have more individualized deep dive conversations around our topics. You'll also get discounts on some merch that we have that we're working on, spoiler. And then we will also be offering some content, additional content, and maybe even some early release access to some things we've got working under the hood. Cooking. Right? So again, Reddit, join us post-episode break room, or join us on Substack for weekly emails that will be sent on Tuesdays ahead of our episodes. So you'll get access to that. And then subscribe, free or pay, right? Either way, we like it. And then always still like share with your friends, share with your family, share with others in your workspace, to get them to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we are really trying to get this out there. So maybe we can start and do our part to drop all the things that we know what's going on in the workforce. So to hopefully bring about some change. And so as our tagline and how we end every episode, if you have not throat punched somebody this week, it's been a great week. This is Sanity Pending Podcast. I am Amber and this is Holly. And we hope that you've had a great week. Bye, everyone.
Thanks.